What's going on, everybody?
Hey,
Good
hey.
morning.
All right, episode one of In the Know. Just going to have a normal conversation alongside me, my uncle Ricky, and my dad. I would say his name, but I don't want to get in trouble, so
Well,
I'll let him have the honor of doing that.
I'm actually Uncle Ricky.
But yeah, so today we just wanted to have a conversation. Or I wanted to have a conversation with two of the inspirations in my life. How they navigate through life as far as success. What does success mean to them, and how do you obtain that? So, without further ado, whoever wants to start off, what does success look like to you? Whether it be materialistic or mindset, like what do you determine as success being?
Yeah, that's good. That is a solid question that everyone has to have some angle to that box. So success to me is a worthy idea that's realized,
A worthy idea that's realized.
something that's a dream realized. So the question I throw back to you is, what's your dream? And when you answer that, if you can see, touch, smell, live that thing that you're dreaming about, isn't that success?
Well, unfortunately for me, I've had several dreams.
That's fortunate. Some people
Well,
don't have one.
that's big.
You know what I'm saying? Like some people don't even have one dream, bro. So when you can you talk about me being an inspiration to you, bro, you're an inspiration to me.
Well, I
Who's
appreciate it.
going to drop, shop, shut it down, and then move to LA? Who does that? Like who does that? Somebody with a worthy ideal.
Is
And
that
then
what he did?
I mean, he did it and came back to tell about it. Like folks don't even some folks don't leave the city that they were born in.
That's a fact. That is a
So
fact.
so success to me is whatever you think about, whatever you want to do, and then you see it come true or come to pass. That's success. Now we're not talking about levels of success. Like that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
Because there's definitely there's layers to that cake, but we're just talking about what success is. Success is I see that, I want that, I am that, or I did that. So, for me, success is just a worthy idea or worthy dream that you have realized and it's come to pass.
That's a good take.
It's a good perspective, and clearly we're gonna all have our own different perspectives because it's a generational kind of perspective.
Mm.
For me, success is not monetary gain because I think Webster kind of defines it that way as success being when one obtains a lot monetarily, if they obtain a lot from a political standpoint, whether or not you are your status
Yes.
in life as
Yeah.
success. And I don't see it that way because there are many people who have um, that are successful, in my opinion, and they haven't gained a lot monetarily. They haven't reached those levels of uh, political stature, um, presidents and judges and so forth. That to me does not define necessarily one being successful. And here's why. Because I think, just as with the two of you both being fathers, you have families and you raise children, and your children are doing great. You're successful. I kind of like what um, Coach John Wooden, who used to be, he's now deceased, but of course he coached the L.A. Lakers, I believe, at doing not L.A. Lakers, excuse me,
UCLA.
UCLA. Thank you.
Hmm.
Success, it really comes down to me whether or not you gave 110% in whatever you do. If you put forth everything you've got in yourself into whatever it is you're doing, and you walk away and say, you know what, I gave it my all, regardless of whether you won a championship or didn't win a championship, for example, if you didn't win, that's okay. You gave it your all because you can only control that which you can control. You can't control other things. Like, for example, in the example I just gave, Wooten could not control. A lot of people want to know, how did he win so many championships? He couldn't control the other teams and how they practiced. He had no control over that. What he could control was how his team practiced and made sure every member on that team gave their very all during practice and during the games. Now, ultimately, it led to a lot of successful championships, but that's what he could control. So was he successful? A lot would say he was successful. Not successful because he won a lot of championships. He was successful and the team was successful because they gave everything they had during practice and whatnot. And the outcome was winning championships. So to me, as long as you give, it's the process. You give all that you can during the process, then you ought to be able to look back and say, I was successful.
I like that.
Yeah. Another question that I had for both of y'all, at the tender ages that y'all are at now,
Tinder.
I like that.
right? So, what would yourself today tell your younger self if there's anything different? If you consider yourself as a successful man, right? What would you have done differently now if you knew what you knew back then, what you know now?
I think what I would do, if I could travel back in time and drop a nugget, I would say save more, invest more. I think about this all the time. How much money have we spent? How much money have we let come through our hands getting fast food, buying this and that, just because it tickled our fancy? I like that word, fancy, right? Like, how much money have we made over the decade that we didn't tell where to go? That's something I would be a little bit more diligent on, or at least in this case, talk to myself like, listen, it ain't even worth it.
Yeah.
Because even right now, I've adapted this minimalist stance, this just everything. Like, I don't need as much. Less is more for me, right? I want to travel light. If I can't put it in one bag, it's too much. That's my word.
Yeah.
Like, if it's like gone are the days of trying to fill a closet up just to please who? Like, who am I getting fresh for? Check this out. Like, I teach at a school with children who have uniforms. Kids come to school with the same pants on all day, like all week rather. It's the same thing. And in that simplicity of it, I've adopted or adapted the same thing. I've got a uniform. Why? Because I don't have to think about what I'm putting on. I believe Albert Einstein was one who did the same thing. Like, he had like the same outfit in his closet, the same jacket, same pants, same shirt.
Mr. Rogers.
I mean, whatever you want to call it, but the fact is, it's simplicity.
Yeah.
And in simplicity, less is more. You don't have to spend as much. You don't have to, and not just spending money, but what else are we spending? Time. Now I got to think about, what am I going to wear? What do I got to put, like, what shoes do I have to wear with this? Bro, who's got time for that?
A lot of people do it.
They waste so much time. We waste time and we waste money and we waste resources for what? Like, what are we doing? So, success to me, back to success, but success is about mastering something. Yeah, it's the outcome that we want, but in the process of mastering self, like, that's the true success. That's really the real battlefield. Like, mastering bro. What's the word say? What is it to gain the whole world
To lose your soul.
to lose? So what does that mean? To lose, to not master self. Imagine being 20 years old and knowing you have a battle with lust and still being almost 50 and still battling the same thing. I just stepped in deep water.
Yeah, you did.
I know I just made a big splash.
Well, there are a whole lot of other conversations and things that can spin off of
Bro,
where you're at.
I
right
know.
now. Wow. Well, that was
Sorry.
pretty.
Sorry.
You good.
Yo,
No.
This is
let's
op-
go.
Open conversation.
I think I would, looking back on things, I definitely would. I got to go spiritual. Trust, and I know everybody doesn't necessarily believe in God, but I do, and you know, coming into that and making that a priority in my life was not during those younger years, early 20s and whatnot. But what I found is putting your trust and faith and actually learning and having a desire to learn the Word of God. The thing is this: life has so many, as you know, life has so many challenges that you're going to face.
Hmm.
And the ones that there have been several in my life that I know there's no way, no man, no person would have been with no amount of money would have been able to help me.
Mm.
And it's a situations where the only way I made it through that was by God's help,
The Most High.
the Most High. So if I had jumped on that a lot sooner and made that a priority in my life, there's nothing going forward that you can't handle. Knowing that if he's a part of your life and you have faith in him, what you worried about?
Mm.
You got the victory. And, you know, and accepting that and understanding and knowing that you've got the victory. That other stuff doesn't mean anything. It's a challenge of that, and that's all it is. It's a challenge. But I've already got the victory. So it's like knowing you've already won the fight before it even occurs.
That's a really mature mindset. And only a seasoned, grizzled veteran can speak that way. Only.
Well, here's the thing. Most people, and I think it's not a stretch to say most people, when you face potentially financial ruin, it brings on a whole lot of other
It's
thoughts,
a whole nother level.
a whole nother level. And when you don't have anyone that you can turn to,
Oh man. Who you going to?
who are you going to? So if there's something in your life that you know is just it will break you.
Yeah.
It can end you.
Yeah.
And you put your faith and trust in him and you come out of it and no person, family, friend, nobody could have done that. And you come out clean, and I mean clean,
Yeah.
unscathed, no scratch.
Like I said, battle tested. That's grizzled stuff.
Hey man. That's what I'm talking about. And so I would have done, I think that'd been something I would want to do. You know, go back and start a lot sooner.
Yeah.
I would save myself a whole lot more heartache.
That's good.
I think for me, just really quickly, I'm still learning and growing, and really still trying to understand life, even at 35. But right now, I'm listening to you two, break bread on what you would have done or said to your younger self. I'm mixing it together, and what I'm hearing myself telling my younger self is brace for impact. And what I mean by that is the practical way of looking at it is whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
That part.
So it's what you do with whatever happens, which is now bringing into what my dad said, keeping faith. Because whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But who are you going to put your trust in when it does happen? So I could easily tell myself, hey, look, focus and dial in on one dream that you have that you want to consider yourself as being successful on. But things are still going to happen. You're still going to have your trials and tribulations. But what are you going to do when the struggle happens? When everything's not going your way? Are you going to fold or are you going to brace for impact? Are you still going to lean in and trust God and believe that he's going to keep his promises over your life? Or are you just going to give up? And I think in totality, what I would say is, again, it ain't going to be easy. Brace for impact. And that's not to be, that wouldn't be to deter me from, my goals, but it's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a fight, because nobody wants to butter up, ideas on life. Like, yeah, if you work hard, then the best things are yet to come. We know that's not realistic.
Here's one other thing, and I'm gonna just make this one probably one of my last points, and I got to take this as not even mine. It's who we all, your granddad, your dad. I also call him my dad. Something he said, and you all talking about being wise. We all know that's a wise man. But it's in long lines with what you all are talking about. You need to know when to listen. You need to listen to and who to listen to. It says one thing to be ignorant, and it's okay to be ignorant. Ignorant just means you just don't know. There's things you don't know. I don't know how to build a rocket ship. I'm ignorant to that. That's okay. But it's a whole nother thing to be stupid and not know you're stupid. Right? It's a whole nother thing to be ignorant and not know you're ignorant. And there's a lot of people who are ignorant and don't know that they're ignorant. So they don't know when to listen, and they don't know who to listen to. So they go listening to everybody and everything. And that's when you go wrong.